Hello everyone, and it's a long overdue welcome back to RaceRoom. I've not had a chance to enter a ranked race for 2 weeks now, so I'm really excited to get back onto the grid today. And to celebrate, we're going to do a double header, 2 races in the GT4 class at Hockenheim. Now, we're currently sat on the grid waiting for the lights to go green in race 1, so let's quickly check out qualifying. And as you can see, I had a really good session. I've managed to put it 5th on the grid with a time of 1:49.6. And we're only 2/10ths off the driver in 3rd, so if we can get away well and avoid the carnage in the first few turns, we should be competitive here and able to battle for a top 5 finish. Let's go over to the grid and see how we get on. Oh, we got away really well there, and I'm quite pleased as well that we're on the outside line. I'm perfectly willing to take an instant point and run wide if it means avoiding the chaos in turn 1. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to need to, because we've got around turn 1. We didn't exceed track limits and we didn't have any contact, so that's a real result. We're in 4th. Although we've got an Audi sniffing up the inside here, I think I'm going to have to give him the space. He's made the pass and he's going to make it stick. I'm on the inside, there's just not enough room, and I take a little clip from behind. I think that was another Audi. I just got a tap. I certainly picked up 4 instant points, and yeah, it's Racer in the Audi who's gone through. So we've gone from 4th to 6th in that section of turns. And we're approaching the hairpin for the first time. I'm going to take it easy coming into here. Oh, and there's a Porsche incoming, a wild lunge down the inside. He's never going to make it stick, and thankfully he didn't take anyone with him, although he's going to try and rejoin and give me a nudge. But I've managed to hold the position. Oh yeah, that could have been disastrous. That could have been so much worse than it was. That Porsche was completely out of control going into the hairpin. Could have easily taken 2 or 3 cars with him, but somehow he managed to miss them all. I don't know whether it was by luck or by judgment, but we've got away with that. We're in 6th still. And as we head to the stadium section for the first time, it looks like there's a gap opening up. The front 5 are beginning to break away. It's more than a second now to Randy Racer in 5th. And I've got company in my rearview mirror. I've got another Audi by the looks of things. Jordi Herrero is hunting me down, so I'm going to have to be on my game here. I don't want to let any more positions slip. Oh, these final 2 turns of the stadium section, they're so tricky to get right in these GT4 cars. But we've made it to the end of lap 1, virtually unscathed and in 6th position, so I'll certainly take that at this stage. And oh, we've lost someone big time in the rearview mirror. That might have been Herrero. Yes, it was. Herrero has crashed out at T1. So all of a sudden, we've got a gap that's opened up behind us now. 2 seconds back to Paul Thompson, who's in 7th. So that's really good. That's a bit of breathing room. And it gives me a chance to concentrate on the guys in front, trying to keep with them. That gap to Racer was more than a second at the end of the first lap, but we're down to 0.4 now. So we are gaining. Right, let's take a quick break from the live action and we can go back and check out a replay of the first lap, and we'll start on the grid. I got away really well, and as I said at the time, I was on the outside and I was quite willing to run wide if I needed to avoid any contact. As it happens, we didn't need to, and we got around cleanly. I'm quite amazed by that, because turn 1 at Hockenheim is difficult at the best of times, but on lap 1 with 20 GT4 cars going around it, it's a recipe for disaster. But we got really lucky. However, we did leave the door open for that colourful Audi of Victor Padilla to find his way through. And then I take a bump from behind. It's another Audi. This time it's Randy Racer, and it costs me a bit of momentum. Racer goes up the inside. He's already got the speed. He's taken 5th position, so we've dropped from 4th to 6th. And as we approach this hairpin, things get really hairy. Keep your eye out for the Porsche. He comes from way back, completely misses his braking point. Thankfully, there's enough space for him to run wide without taking anyone else out, but he does try and force his way back onto the track, right in the position where I'm exiting the hairpin. Thankfully, although there was contact, it didn't push me off, and I was able to hold the position. But yeah, we're riding on board with the Porsche now, and watch this. He's passed 1, 2, 3 cars, but no way of stopping it. Completely out of control. And then, yeah, tries to rejoin on the track. That's me. There's the contact. We didn't pick up an instant point for that, incredibly. It was quite a hefty hit. But thankfully, no harm done. And then at the start of lap 2, we saw Herrero chasing me, completely lose it in turn 1, and I'm still not quite sure what happened to cause him to lose control there. Oh, and once again, we're closing right in on Racer on the brakes there, but it's just whether we can stick with him on the exit, and I don't think we can. He's just a little bit faster exiting corners than I am. But I suspect that we'll gain on him again as we approach this hairpin, because I do seem to be able to brake a little bit later than him. But let's see if we can get a good exit and try and stick with him. He's running deep, so that might give us an opportunity. Oh, I thought for a moment that he was going to spear across the track then, and I took avoiding action. I didn't need to, but that has cost me a few tenths. Oh, now it's my turn to run in a little bit hot. We carried way too much entry speed into that corner then. We've got away with it, but I think it's probably cost us another tenth or two though. Yeah, those two mistakes saw me lose some ground on Racer, and I spent the next lap trying to reel him back in, so we're going to fast forward and rejoin the live action on the next lap when I finally get a bit closer again. Well, the fact that we've bridged that gap in the space of a lap does tell me that I'm faster than Racer, but it's just whether I can find a way around him. It would be great if I could, because that would be a top 5 if we can get past this guy. But he's driving really smoothly. He's not making any mistakes, certainly not giving me any invitations to pass, but we've lost someone else in front. Who was that? It looked like the KTM of Carbonero spun out, so we have got 5th place. Yeah, Carbonero was our 3rd place driver, and he was pushing Bernie Eccleston for 2nd. And as you can see there, he had to take avoiding action after braking too late. That opened the door for Padilla to get through. And as you can see, Carbonero doesn't want to surrender the position, but he gets his nose wiped. And that loses control of the KTM, and he slides into the barrier. Oh, and Racer gets on the brakes really early into that left-hander. That very nearly caught me out. I had to take avoiding action there to stop myself from rear-ending that Audi. Once again, our mid-corner speed is really good. We're sticking with him, but it's just on the exit. I can't quite get out of the corner quick enough to stay on Racer's tail and put us in a position to make the challenge as we clip the curb on the inside. That did unsettle the car, but it doesn't seem to have cost us any time. And we are sticking with Racer now, so come on, let's try and get a good exit out of this corner and get in his draft on this long run down the Parabolica to the hairpin. But again, we're just not close enough. Just can't keep with him on the exit of those turns. Three minutes left on the clock now, so there's only going to be a couple more laps to go. So if we are going to take this 4th position, we're going to have to do it fairly soon. And once again, we're drifting in a bit hot into that left-hander. I don't think it's cost us too much. We're still within 0.4, 0.5 of a second of Racer as we approach the stadium section again. And again, he's early on the brakes, but I was ready for it this time. And just broke a little bit earlier myself too. But we're on his tail again now, so let's just try and keep with him around these final 2 turns of the stadium section. And if we can, try and get a good drive out of this final corner, and it looks like we have done. So we're right in his draft now. This might be the opportunity to make a pass. We're going to have a look up the inside, but I don't like being on the inside into T1 here. There's just not the space, and we have to ease off the gas to make the corner safely, and that's cost us. Oh, in hindsight, I think I probably should have just sat behind him and used the draft a little bit longer. We could have probably put that draft to better use coming down this long straight here. But it's cost us some time, and it's also brought Paul Thompson back into play. He was a few seconds behind a lap or two ago. But the battle between myself and Racer, it's brought Thompson right back into play. Oh, and he's even earlier on the brakes this time, and I did have to take avoiding action. That sent me out wide. Oh, that was close. I was really caught out then, and that might invite Thompson to have a look at the inside. He's actually thought better of it. So we're going to have to work hard now to defend this 5th position. Thompson's right on my tail, and he's looking like he wants to make a move. Can I defend it into this left-hander? I can, but I've run a bit wide. And surely now Thompson's going to go past. And he has done. Oh, and now we've got the KTM as well. That looks like Carbonero. Carbonero's going to have a look around the outside, so I just need to take the defensive line here. I don't want to let Carbonero through as well. He's come from nowhere. He's obviously gained some speed after that spin a bit earlier. Carbonero's having a look on the outside. Now he switches to the inside. I'm going to try and defend it, but I've run a little bit deep. Carbonero's having a look, but I've just about held him off for now. Well, we've only got 1 lap to go, but it's going to be a real struggle to hold off Carbonero now and keep this 6th position, although we might just gain 5th. It looks like we've lost Bernie Eccleston. I think I saw him entering the pits as we went by, so we are up to 5th. But I don't know for how long, because we've got Carbonero in the KTM right behind me, and I know he's got pace. He was in front of me at the start of the race, and he's faster than me, and he's right in my draft now, so I suspect he's going to have a look up the inside. I'm going to just try and brake as late as possible to defend this, and I think we have defended it. Carbonero's still with me though, and he's got more draft, and I think he might have the pace this time on the approach to the hairpin. I suspect he's going to have a look up the inside. I don't want to go to the inside. I'm going to stay out to the left. I'm almost going to invite him to make the pass, and I'm going to try the switch back if I can. Let's see if we can do it. Let's cut in. Oh no, there's no room, and I clip Carbonero. There's contact and instant points all round by the looks of it, but we're both okay. The switchback didn't work, and now I'm down to 6th again. And realistically, I don't think I've got the pace to make a pass on any of these guys, so I'm going to be relying on a mistake from any of the 3 in front of me to give me any positions back now. Otherwise, we're going to have to settle for 6th position, which all in all is not a bad result by any means. And the checkered flag is out, so these will be the final few corners of the race. And it just doesn't look like these 3 cars in front are quite close enough to each other to battle and possibly force a mistake. So I think we are going to settle for 6th place here. Yeah, they've all got through that final turn cleanly. So we're going to cross the line and end a thrilling GT4 race in 6th place. I've really enjoyed this one. It was a great battle. But yeah, now we can take a breath after the race is finished. Let's go back and check out a replay of the penultimate lap, because that's where it all kicked off, and it started on the approach to the hairpin. I got completely caught out by Racer's early braking, and I had to take evasive action right here. I thought I was going to run into the rear of him, so I had to go around the outside. That messed up my line, and I drifted even wider. Well, that gave Thompson in the Audi a chance to have a sniff up the inside, but he didn't quite have the power to get it done. But he was right on my tail, and I was feeling the pressure by now, and I think that's what caused me to make a mistake on the approach to this left-hander. I just broke a little bit too late, and look at the corner speed, way too fast going into that turn. Completely lost control of the BMW. Thompson's gone by, and now we've got Carbonero for company in the KTM, and look how wide Carbonero drifts. He's going to try and make a move on the outside, but there was no way I was letting that happen. I held the line. Carbonero now is going to have a quick look down the outside as we're in the stadium section, and then he switches. He looks for the inside. I've just about got enough speed to hold on to the position, although I did run a little bit wide. Carbonero just wasn't quite close enough to get it done. And look at the difference between these 2 cars. The size difference of the BMW compared to the KTM is unbelievable. And I tried as hard as I could to hold off Carbonero, but in the end, I had to concede that 5th position in the hairpin. So what's all this action done for my RaceRoom stats? Well, let's take a look, and my rating is actually steadily increasing now. We're up to 1,541. So after a blip a few weeks ago, we are making good progress again, which is good to see. And as for the classified race results, there's your winner, Schultz, with a fastest lap of 1:47.4. Schultz was our pole position man, was a class apart, basically, faster by far than anyone else on the grid. And although I had to settle for 6th position, I'm really encouraged by this performance, especially when I look at the gap between myself and Racer, who finished 3rd. There's only 3 seconds between me and a podium finish, so really positive signs that I'm competitive in this car on this track. And because of that competitiveness and feeling in very high spirits, I thought I'd better enter the next race. So I jumped straight into the next lobby to do it all again. Part 2 of the double header. And it looks like we've got a much higher strength of field for this second race, because my qualifying time was 0.4 of a second faster than my qualifying time in race 1. However, it was only good enough for 7th on the grid this time. Schultz has entered this race too, and he's on pole position again, a full second quicker than anyone else on the grid. So I'm expecting him to run away with it much like he did in race 1, and hopefully I'll be part of the battle for the podium positions. Let's get over to the grid and see if we can improve on our position this time around. Oh, and another great start, and the Lotus didn't get one in front of me, but we're going to squeeze our way through, and we're up to 4th off the line, and we're going to get that outside line as well, so we can run wide again if we need to, but we don't need to. We've held the position. We've gone from 7th to 4th. What a cracking start. Right, let's defend if we need to coming into this right-hander, but I don't think we need to. We were already far enough ahead of the Lotus behind, so we're still 4th. But he's surely going to get him a slipstream as we start the charge down the Parabolica. Yeah, he's right on the tail, so I'm expecting to see him any moment jump out to the inside to make a move. There it goes. And he's not going to quite get it done. He's tucked back inside to get a bit more draft, but now he is going to make the move at the inside. I'm going to let him go. I might be able to pull it back if he runs in too deep, but he's not. He's held it really well. It was a great pass. So we're down to 5th. And we've got an Audi behind us looking a bit keen. It's Padilla again from the first race. We know he's got speed. And Padilla's going to have a look up the inside into this left-hander. Is he going to make it stick? He barges his way through. There's contact, but he's made the pass, and now we're down to 6th. I think we got away with that without any incident points. Well, we're going to have to work really hard to stay with Padilla. We know how fast he was in race 1. I think he ended up finishing 2nd. So if we can just stick with him, he might be able to pull us along. And already there's a gap opening up to the car behind, so that's really pleasing to see. It's almost 1.5 seconds to collar off in 7th. So if I can just get a bit of breathing room behind me, that'll allow me to focus on the cars in front and trying to stick with Padilla. But we're going to cross the line at the end of the first lap in 6th, so I'm more than happy with that. We just need to push now and keep with this gang in front. But I might have just run in a little bit hard, and yeah, we have run wide and we've picked up a slow down. Just what I didn't need. Thankfully, it's not a big one. What is it? 0.12 of a second, so we should be able to get rid of that around this turn. We have done, and it's not cost us anything. We're still right with Padilla, so let's see what we can do. Let's push. But yeah, what a start that was. One of my best ever starts in RaceRoom, I think. Let's go back and check out the replay. And the Lotus in front of me was really sluggish when the lights went green. I made the move, and there was the smallest of gaps between the Lotus and the Audi. Somehow, we managed to squeeze through into 4th place and hold the position into T1 without running wide, which was an even bigger bonus. And as we start the charge down to turn 2, I was expecting at least one attempt at a pass up the inside of me, but our exit out of T1 was so good. We had a large enough advantage that the cars couldn't get close. However, now we have got a Black Lotus right on our tail. He's going to pick up the slipstream as we surge down the Parabolica. He has a think about making a move early and actually pulls out to have a look. Then he tucks back in just to get a bit more draft before deciding that yes, he's going to make the move up the inside. Again, I wasn't too worried about it. I thought I'd let him go. I thought I might be able to cut back if he drifted wide, but he didn't. He made the corner perfectly. Now keep your eye on Padilla in that brightly coloured Audi behind me. He's going to think about making a move up the inside in this upcoming left-hander. But look at the gap I leave for him. I don't only open the door, I offer to carry his luggage through as well. That's a huge gap. And there's a bit of contact, but I'm not going to complain about that. I left the gap. He was right to go for it. I'm sticking with these guys at the moment, and that's really encouraging. I suspect it's because those 3 cars in front are so close together. Look at them, almost 3 wide as they enter the penultimate turn of this stadium section. But yeah, Padilla's just holding back a little bit, and I'm keeping in touch with him, so this is really working into my favour at the moment. On another really good exit out of T1, that felt good. And things are really close now. There's only 1.5 seconds between second and me in 6th. This is really close battling. I just get the sense that if I can stick with these guys, there's going to be an accident sooner or later. They're battling so close to each other. Something's got to give at some point soon. And if I can just be close enough to pounce on any mistake, I need to get myself in that position, but we are in danger now of just losing a bit of touch. Managed to reel them in a little bit in that hairpin, and it looked like the Black Lotus ahead ran a little bit wide, so that might cost him a 10th or 2. And we are still just in touch with them. Oh, just ran a little bit too close for comfort there to Padilla. That's not the first time I've broke a little bit too late going into that left-hander. I've run in hot a few times, but thankfully no harm done there. I managed to avoid any contact with Padilla. And look how close it is up front. You can throw a blanket over these 3 guys. And Padilla's getting just as close now, so the 4 of them are battling. And I can just keep within a second. I'll be well happy with this. This is going really well. Oh, I thought I was going to drift wide then. Had I done it, probably would have handed me a slowdown penalty. Thankfully, we didn't. But it was borderline. Let's try and get this T1 right. We're going to clip the curb. Yeah, I saw that coming. I knew I was going to hit that big, but we're okay. It's not cost us any time. We're still within a second of Padilla. And oh, there is contact. That's 2 cars off. We're going to gain 2 positions. No, we're not. We're only going to gain 1. Oh, Jimenez just got in time. Oh, I knew that there was going to be something like that going down. They couldn't battle that closely without there being an incident. I thought Jimenez was going to run wide too, but he just got back on in front of me. Let's check out the replay and see what happens. And we're watching the pack of cars charge towards T2, and we're keeping our eye on Jimenez. He's the 3rd car in the picture. He's going to have a look at making a pass on Atasoy in the Porsche, but there's no room and he can't stop, and he clips the rear of Atasoy, spins the Porsche around. We're riding on board with Jimenez now, and look, he's got no chance of making this pass. He brakes too late, clips the Porsche. Really unlucky for Atasoy. He'll be frustrated, but Jimenez manages to rejoin just in front of me. Jimenez is working really hard to try and find a way around Padilla. But I know from the previous race that passing Padilla is not an easy task. As we approach T2, is Jimenez going to try another lunge? No, he's going to be a bit more sensible this time. That's good to see. But he is really close to Padilla, and I'm reeling the pair of them in, so as long as they keep battling, I'm going to be able to stick with these two guys. Approaching the hairpin, it's one of the overtaking points. I don't think Jimenez is close enough, though, to have a look. Oh, but it looks like he's got out of shape again, and he's run wide. He's taken Padilla out. They've both gone, but Padilla's saved it. How on earth did Padilla save that? He took a massive hit from Jimenez, and I could have sworn that he was gone. I thought I was going to gain 2 positions just like that, but somehow Victor Padilla saved that, and he's going to hold on to 3rd place. Yeah, for a split second there, I was sure that I was going to go up to 3rd and be in a podium position, but it wasn't to be. That Audi somehow ended up pointing in the right direction and stayed in front of me. But we're right on Padilla's tail now. Can we stick with him? We're going to try as hard as we can, but we don't want to make a mistake now. A 4th place would still be an incredible result, but let's see what we can do. Right, let's go back and check out a replay of another moment of madness from Jimenez. Just on the previous lap, we saw him take out the Porsche, and he's going to do it again. This time, he's going to completely miss his braking point and run into the rear of Padilla. Watch it on the entry to the hairpin. He's way back, but clips him hard. And at this point, Padilla's gone. The rear stepped out, but he somehow gets it stopped. And that's what gets him pointing in the right direction again. Now we're on board from Padilla. Look how far back Jimenez comes from. And it's a big hit. And then watch Jimenez, he just disappears. I wonder if that contact might have disqualified him. He might have picked up too many incident points to vanish suddenly like that. And after such a dramatic first half of the race, the second half was pretty tame in comparison. I tried my best to stay with Padilla, but he was just too quick for me. He was lapping about half a second or a second a lap faster, and that helped him open up a gap of nearly 6 seconds by the time we got to the final lap. But I was more than happy with 4th place, and it was actually a pretty stress-free final 5 minutes for me. I had no real competition behind. The nearest driver was Atazoy. We saw him get punted out earlier. He was closing the gap, but not at a rate that alarmed me, so I was able to bring it home safely. And although it's not a podium position, it is still a very, very satisfying 4th place. And what made it even more satisfying was the strength of field that I was up against. There were some really fast drivers in this race, and it was a stacked grid. 29 cars entered, and as a result of finishing 4th, I got a boost of 35 points to my rating. We're now up to 1,573, getting close to that magic 1,600 mark, which I last saw about 2 months ago. And let's take a look at the classified results, and no surprise at all who won. It's Schultz again, so much faster than any of the other guys on the grid, and he had a comfortable victory, 10 seconds clear of Morawski in 2nd. But there I am in 4th, a really good result for me, one of my best ones in RaceRoom, I think. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this doubleheader. I know it's a little bit longer than my usual RaceRoom videos, but it's been such a long time since I've had a chance to join the ranked servers. I thought I'd better make it a good one, so I do hope you've enjoyed watching as much as I've enjoyed returning to RaceRoom. It's been excellent fun. I can't wait for the next race. I'll see you soon. Cheers.